Hello and welcome to the Nitty Kitties channel, and I'm any art Netty. Now look at all this art supplies on my desk. It's just some stuff I've collected over the last few years, and I thought you might like to see Spectrum Noir versus some Derwent things. Now these are metallic markers. One of them had dried out sadly by the time I got to use them, and Spectrum Noir's metallic colour pencils. They're a set of 12. Now you can tell I've been using them. Also got now from Derwent their watercolour metallics, which I haven't used before. I only opened that on the day I was filming this, so they're brand new, not been used. They were on an offer I think on a Black Friday, and we went to the Derwent Museum and my partner bought me these as a present, metallic pencils. They're for the 20th anniversary of Derwent. Now some more Spectrum Noir things I think here is their black paper pad to try out the metallic things on. Now Spectrum Noir Colorista range, this is the old one. I believe they've got a brand new whole different range of things now. Now these 6 packs of 5 markers are a cheaper version of an alcohol marker. They also did a colour pencil in the Colorista range as well, and a pack of cards to colour in which have got glitter on. Now I've done some swatches of some of these things as well. In the Colorista range there's paper colouring books to colour in which you can use for your crafting as well, so we'll try some of them and see what you think of them. So I've done bits and bobs of these, and I'd rather draw my own pictures really, but it's quite handy for someone if you haven't got much drawing skills like that and you want something just to colour in. It's on good premium paper as well too, so I do recommend them. You can keep them, and it's not cheap paper like some colouring books. It's very good value and good quality as well. So I'd started this one. I'm going to finish that one later in the video, and still loads I haven't done because like I said, I'd rather draw my own pictures, but it's nice to sit and colour in now and again. So I shall show what those pencils are like later on. Obviously they've been used as well, as you will see. And I'll show you how I do blending with these particular markers in a little bit of a time lapse later on as well. Just some little tips and tricks. So I've swatched out those Colorista pens. Like I say, there's 6 packs and each pack has got 5 colours in. Now I do like the set 6 probably the best, and set 1, but everyone's got personal preferences. They've all got different themes to them, and they're all put together in different colour combinations. You can see through that paper there, that's a Derwent sketchbook, just in case. Trying to keep it completely Derwent and Spectrum Noir so we can do a comparison. So I just picked those 2 particular brands out. I've got some swatches again here that I've done, and this particular one here is those metallic markers. Now like I said, I got them from a garden centre in the UK, and unfortunately, yeah, one of them was dried up when I come to use them in that top set there, unfortunately, but they're lovely and bright, and you get 2 different nibs on that as well. So I'll put that on my Instagram and my Facebook page, which I'll just put the name of now in a caption, so you can actually see the swatching on your screen much clearer. Now the little pads that Spectrum Noir do on black paper, again, really good quality, can't knock it, lovely to colour in. And they come in all different sizes. There's a size which is good for gift tags, and a size which is if you want to cut it up and make them into things and stuff like bookmark size. Now these ones have been coloured in with those Spectrum Noir metallic colour pencils there, and I've done them over maybe about the past 4 years, something like that. And I wanted to show you the difference with that. I find quite dull. Now that one has been coloured in with some of the marker pens, the ones that I showed you, the double-ended ones, and that one was as well. And it goes over those lines, which is, well, that's me doing that, isn't it? Should have been a bit more careful. But the difference with this 20th, well, the Derwent metallic pencils, so much brighter and a lot easier to use as well. But not knocking the Spectrum Noir ones, they were nice and creamy, but these ones are on a whole other level, so vibrant and really, really nice to use. So obviously a bit more expensive, but I think Spectrum Noir give you the confidence to where you're starting right from scratch, whereas with Derwent I'd probably get it if you got a bit more of a budget and a bit more confidence with art. I've swatched out both of those pencil sets there. You can see obviously in the Derwent one there's more colours to choose from. I suppose it depends on your experience and how much budget you've got. So for the first time I'm going to use and swatch out first of all these metallic colour pencils. Now the reason why I swatch out all of my art supplies is because on the barrel you can see the colour on the end. Now with a lot of art supplies the colour is not like it is on the end of what it's supposed to look like. Obviously it's a digital version sometimes that they're done with a swatch, so sometimes it can be a completely different colour. Now I'm going to put every single colour just with no water first, and then use some water to see how they react with that, and if it completely melts the colour, everything we're looking for in a watercolour pencil. Now you'll see there I've got 2 cups of water. I like to have one which is just clean water and one which I can clean the brush with. Now they reacted really, really well with water. It completely melted away, which is what I'm looking for. I don't know what you're in particular looking for from a watercolour pencil, but I'm going to do some art another time with this. Now I find when I'm doing a video I get a bit of record button what do you call it, like a bit, oh, I'm being recorded. I'm aware of it, so I like to sit with my headphones on and relax and things like that. So obviously when you're doing a piece of art, if it's a few days or whatever, you've got to fit that on a SD card or in a memory or whatever, and it can get quite full, so I like to post it all on Instagram and all that kind of thing. So I wanted to try out as well these pencils on white paper, and I've got them done now for you to see, and we'll see what it's like on a white watercolour, specifically made for watercolour white paper as well. Now what I wanted to try before that was with the Derwent 20th edition set and the Spectrum Noir metallic pencils set, was to see how they reacted with water, just in case there was any mixed media people watching and you wanted to know how they react with water. I recently did a video with Arteza, the old colour pencils, to see how they reacted with water. Obviously they melted with the water, and they weren't supposed to, because they were supposed to be waterproof. So for a mixed media artist, that isn't very good. Or you want it to do that, or you don't want it to do that. It depends. If you get an accident, you get water all over it, it's completely ruined. So it depends what you want to do. Now, the Spectrum Noir ones were brilliant. The Derwent one, the pewter I think it was, melted just a little bit, but the rest of them were fine. So that was a good test to do. And that's dried now completely on the black paper. So I just thought I'd show you that so you could see it. And now I've swatched out all of those colours in the Derwent watercolour metallic set there, and I'm going to see how they react with water. Now I've done this one a bit more left-handed friendly. I struggle to go from left to right with swatches on when I'm doing a video, because you've got to see it without my hand in the way. I try to do that as much as possible so you can see how it's not good with a hand in the way. So we'll see how they react, and they were a lot brighter on the white paper, but I don't think they came out very metallic as much as they did on the black. But see what you think. I'll leave that with you good selves watching this, and I'll obviously put all of these swatches on my socials, as they call it. It's I'm so old to all this, but on the Facebook, on the Instagram and everything like that, so you can see them on your own screens instead of in a video. Right, so next I've got these markers. Now these are, I believe, a cheaper version to the Spectrum Noir marker set, which you can just see behind them there. And they've got smaller nibs on them again, so it's much more precise work for colourists or people who colour in. Now it's very relaxing hobby, I think, that's the idea of it. And these are more towards the card making kind of crafters rather than artists who create their own art, really. I'm just going to open these sets up and put them on the top of that there, so we can easily reach them and see the colour on the end of the barrel. Again, I'd recommend swatching them out, because sometimes the colour isn't the same as the digital colour on the end of the barrels. Same with any art supplies really, and having it to hand on a swatch is good to see when you need to know what colours you're going to use. Now I think the idea with these, with the 6 different sets, is to limit yourself to maybe just one set, and just use those colours as a palette. Now I think that's a good idea, because when we get a set of 150 colours, the world's at your oyster, but you want to keep it just a theme. I think this is a great idea to use. But I found actually, again, Garden Centre was on about before. They were sadly closing down, and they sold all crafting. There was a little shop within it, crafting shop, and I found these and they were on sale. Like I say, it was unfortunate closing down, so they were quite cheap. And they come with glitter on them that you can colour over. And it's got an insert for the card as well, and the little envelopes. This is one I made earlier, sounded like a frustrated Blue Peter presenter there. But you can see the glitter on them. It looks stunning, it really does. And I think that'd be lovely to send to someone, you know, handmade, and somebody's put some effort into it to make it. It's a bit more heartfelt, isn't it? So, but yeah, I created that maybe about 4 or 5 years ago now. I've had this, but I wondered if they were knocking about anywhere and anyone wondered about them. But yeah, I believe now they've brought out, Spectrum Noir that is, have brought out a colourist set again, where it's completely different stuff. I think I'll try and find a link and I'll pop it in the description below so you can see all of the things. Now, any of the brands I've mentioned today, just for the sake of saying, I'm not sponsored or affiliated. Now, just as I showed you then, there is a little bit to colour on the back, so hand created, handmade by, and you can put your name in there. It's another little bit to colour in. Now, the only thing I found with these was the colour did show through on the inside of the card, but obviously they've gave you those inserts to put inside there. Now, what I do with this is I pick 3 different colours within the same family. Now, what I mean by that is reds and pink go together in the same family. Reds and oranges do as well. Blues, all different blues. Purples, very closely related there. I'd recommend getting a colour wheel, which will help you with this, and maybe at one point I'll do a colour fairy video. Now, but I'll try and keep this as basic as possible. I've chosen a very dark red, a medium shade of red, and a light pink. Now, thinking about when an object, look at any object closest to you, say a mug for example, and you've got light source shining on it, and you can see where the shadow is and where the light is hitting the object. Where the light's hitting the object is going to be the lightest, so that's going to be where you do the lightest colour. So thinking about when a flower with the petals, when they're folded, where that sun is hitting it, and where a petal is covering another petal. So if you put your hand, one hand over the other now I'm doing this, you can't see me because I'm shy, so you can see on your arm there is a shadow where you've got your hand covering there. It's casting a shadow underneath, so you're going to do that, the shadow bit, the darkest colour. So just sticking to that theory there. I might do a video about that actually, and then you can, not showing myself, I'm too shy but you can see exactly what I mean there. Where the light is hitting that object, you've got to imagine it. But I think with Spectrum Noir they do actually a DVD or 2, I'm not sure which is, I'll pop, if I can find one, I'll pop it in the description. I always find them on eBay, and she explains it so well about lights hitting objects and where you should put the different colours, the darkest and the lightest. But you can look at any object in your house and you can see that for yourself, and it gets your mind into that way of thinking. Now, it's nice and all to do just one, you can, if you want, just block colour them with one shade of red for the whole thing, and it'll still look pretty with all that glitter on it. Now the only bit without glitter on is the leaves, so I've done that. I did that off camera because it does take a bit longer. You haven't got as long to colour in the bits without the glitter on. There's something about the glitter, it gives you a bit more time to be able to blend those colours. So I hope you can see what I mean there, where a leaf is laying over another one, where there'll be a shadow on that one underneath it. Just the way that shadow and light works, I guess, is the short way of saying it. So yeah, that's the completed one. I did a blue background as well, just to finish it off so it didn't look like it was floating. Now you can see the colour has come through on that, so I'm just going to lay down that. It's just a sticky side there. I'm going to stick that over so you can't see it through. Now the last bit I wanted to show you was one of the colouring books. This one is specifically for colour pencils with Spectrum Noir. Now these are their colourist. They do a set as well, which is more their, I guess, expert range, which are in the tins, and there's quite several different tins to collect. But these were the colorista ones, which I don't think they have the same colours anymore. I think they've completely changed it. But this is the old colorista set. Well, one of them, because there is quite a few of them to collect as well. Now the thing I think is that if you buy all of these little sets, are you worth getting a completed set anyway? Say for example the Faber-Castell or the Polychromos, and buying that set, does it work out the same amount of money? I'm going to do some maths, and in the next few days I'll figure out which is the best. But that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is these are specifically for people who are, excuse me with me brew there, who are doing card making now, or somebody who's just wanting to get into art, and you need that little bit of confidence, you know, to push you in the right direction, which the Spectrum Noir stuff does. I find that gives you that boost of confidence at first. Now I'd say, are they worth the money, the Spectrum Noir? Yeah, I'd say if you're into your card making big time and stuff like that, and you need that, right, I can't draw for toffee kind of thing, so this is drawn out for me already, because they do the stencils as well. I think you're onto a winner with this. If you're already into your drawing and you're happy and you're confident with it, I guess so, but it's just, for me now, I don't use it as much. I think I sold a lot of my stuff, but I use it now and again when I want to just sit and relax and colour in. But I find these sets now, I don't use them because I use the bigger sets. I don't know, that's what I think anyway, if you're a card maker and you need the set from the beginning. But I don't know for sure if these newer colorist sets have the same attitude with the card making and stuff like that, so I can't honestly say. But with these old sets, I'd say that's my view on it. Now compared to the Derwent, I think if you've got a bit more of the confidence and that, I'd probably go more for that. Now, not that I'm biased, Derwent is based in the Lake District. I live there. Now I'm sounding like I'm very biased saying I prefer the Derwent. It totally depends on what budget you have, what level you're at, and there is cheaper and good sets out there, but it depends if you want to keep your stuff for years and years and it not fade, and there's all sorts of variables to it as well. It depends on budget, it depends on experience, and I hope I'm giving the right information. But yeah, I think I much prefer, because I'm a bit more confident now, I much prefer the Derwent. But when I was at the total beginner stage and I was enjoying card making and things like that, I was really enjoying the Spectrum Noir. I'm going to do in a separate video what I think of the Derwent markers, and you can see them behind me there again. They're always in the videos, you can see them there. Now, when I first started getting into art and finding out about these alcohol markers, I put it down to, I didn't want a hoo-hoos. I don't know if that's how you say it. I found the Pro markers by Winsor & Newton, but I was after, if I was going to invest in a complete set, I wanted one which you could refill. So it came down to me to either Copics or Spectrum Noir. Now, a decision has been made, obviously. I've gone for the full set of Spectrum Noirs now. And I kind of regret it in a way, if I'm honest, but I'll speak more about that in another video. But I don't want to be unfair to any brand, but my personal view on it, and make of that what you will, is it all depends on how much budget you have, how much experience, and what you're looking to get out of it. Because if you're selling things like works of art, things that should be on a wall and in a gallery and things like that, you'd obviously go for the more expensive ones. If you're just mucking around and learning, not necessarily mucking around, but you get the gist what I mean, you're learning, and it's probably not something you're gonna keep or anything like that, I'd highly recommend Spectrum Noir. But the more experienced and the more money you're wanting to spend and you've got bigger budget, the Derwent for sure. So it totally depends anyway, but the Spectrum Noir, a lot of fun, definitely, and it gave me the biggest confidence boost I could hope for, and as well, highly recommend. But I hope that helps anyway, you know, anyone that's watching. And also, these, they blended lovely, they just melted on the page, and not literally, the colours just melted together on the page, and it was good just to have those little set with just a small amount of colours in, because you're like, right, how can I mix up these colours, because you could mix 2 or 3 of the colours together and make a completely different colour by layering one colour on top of the other. With the kind of a red colour there and the yellow, you could make different shades of oranges and stuff like that, and browns, and it gives you a bit more. There isn't just the colours that you can see in that set. Once you start laying different colours together, you've got a whole other set of colours which you can't see there. So yeah, there's that. But they do work well, they do work brilliantly, they sharpen well, they blend well. But I think it's a case of budget. That's what it comes down to, and it's a case of experience. So take of that what you will. That's my point of view, my opinion, and if it helps someone and it helps someone make a decision what they're looking for and where you're at experience wise, I hope that putting this out into the world and someone finding it, they go, right, I know which one I'm going for now, and every single one of us is going to have a different opinion, which is great. Because if we all had the same opinion, it'd be very, very, very boring. So I'll just leave you with this last bit of colouring in now. I didn't colour the whole thing because I'm gonna do it another time. That's me with colouring books, I think. But I just thought I'd show you because I had all these things lying around and that. Now I found another Spectrum Noir one I bought maybe 6 years ago, which was a steampunk one, and I'd started to colour an owl in it and completely left it. So I think I left myself to 9 different colours in that, and it gets the old brain working with just a very small amount of colours to use. So there'll be a gallery at the end in a minute now, and you'll see them, some things which I completed years ago. So that's the book I had anyway. Yeah, I found that. Yeah, I must have bought it 6 years ago or something like that. So lovely paper again, brilliant, high quality paper, love it. Spectrum Noir for their paper range, thank you ever so much. Yeah, absolutely brilliant paper. So thank you ever so much for watching Derwent versus Spectrum Noir. Take of that what you will, I hope it's helped. Thank you ever so much for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.